Alright, so I think the first order of business is we got to see if this carburetor is the same one. Every time I get a new carburetor in, I like to compare it before I go taking everything apart, but I'm pretty confident it is the ticket. So take an air cleaner off, then I'll I gotta get a light. I gotta get a light, I can already tell it's dark in here. Alright, let's get into this. So taking this air cleaner off and the air cleaner housing, no brainer, I think it's an 8. Before I do that, there's a throttle linkage cable here. I like to just mark it just to get it back exactly where it was. So I'll just draw a little straight line there. So I think it was a Kohler engine on a Craftsman, right? And somebody asked me, where did you find a carburetor for 13 bucks? And I said Amazon, right? So here's what I do. So this is a Briggs and Stratton. So this, the Kohler engine I'm talking about, and I get comments all the time, where do you find these cheap carburetors that come with, 30 different things, spark plugs, air filters, all for 20 bucks. It's Amazon, right? But what you do is go to, like for instance, this Craftsman, you have to go to Sears Parts Direct, right? www. And you scroll down, get your model number, not the model number of the machine, but the model number of your engine. Get that on, in this case, Sears Parts Direct. And then when you get that model number, there'll be drop-down menus, right? And then you go to your carburetor and you look up the carburetor, you copy the number, the part number, and then you go to Amazon, paste it on Amazon, and poof, a million of them show up. One deal better than the other, as far as what it comes with. Some might come with a, this might not be an 8. Some might come with a air filter, spark plug. That might be not metric. So anyways, the point is, in this case it's a Briggs and Stratton, so you can go to a parts tree, or what I do is go to jacksmallengine.com, and then do the same thing. Get the part number from there, and then go copy and paste it right to Amazon. They always have what you're looking for. I'm telling you, it's a cheaper way to go. Yeah, this is not. I can see here. This is a Briggs and Stratton carburetor. It's got a Briggs and Stratton stamp on it. This is made in who knows where. It doesn't even have the normal, this is where your high speed would be there, or the nut to put the cup on. So they do it a little different, but this is going to, well, I don't know yet, I got to match it up, but this is most likely going to work. This thing probably costs $7, $13, something like that. Because they gave all them other parts, air filter and all that other stuff for 20 bucks. Where were we? So we got to get this mechanism off. So the next step, well, there's a breather here. I'm getting all confused. Breather, see in here? I don't know if you can see or not, but just poke that in, or reach from underneath and just yank it out. Either way, get your fingers in there, because this has to come off of here. So I think these are 11, 10 or 11. Pretty sure it's an 11. Once we get this, oh, be sure to turn your gas off, knucklehead. Ooh, that thing's a little crunchy. So because this is an original carburetor, probably gummed up or whatever, but it is over 20 years old. There's an adjustment screw. Same thing with this adjustment screw, but there's no high-speed jet, so it's fixed. So you get what you get. And normally these come all set up. You just bolt it on, starts right up. But we'll see what happens here. So we get these two 11s off, and this plastic housing should pop right off. Oh boy. Oh, there it is. I just noticed. Thought I marked that. A little more profound. Alright, so It's not, this machine is pretty clean actually, for as old as it is. A lot of gunk in here, I'll blow all that out. I always check this breather tube, see if it's cracked, or got some issues with it. Seems to be alright. Goes right against your valve cover here. I'll have to clean all that out. It's got a lot of dirt in there, but it appears to be alright. I don't want to take it off yet just because there's a lot of dirt in there. I don't want it to go in there. Alright, so let's see. Let's see what we got here. It is identical. See, what I'm looking at is just to see if these butterfly valves are the same, and they are. They're identical. And sometimes it doesn't come with this little fella, this little bushing, and you have to take it off your old bushing, but this one comes intact. So it's the same exact carburetor. Well, not same exact. This is not a Briggs and Stratton. This is, like I said, made somewhere where I think children are involved. I don't know, but so next up is we have to take and get these bolts out. And I'm thinking, is that an 8? It is. So far we just got the 8 and a 10. Easy peasy so far. Alright, from here, this Z-bend, we can dip this down, get that Z-bend out of there, right? And once this carburetor is detached, we can dip it down. This is a hook, it's not a Z-bend. Anyways. Alright, so see if we can dip this down, get that out of there. Now, maybe we have to do this one first. Oop. That gasket's in decent shape. Carburetor came with a gasket, but I don't know about this intake gasket, whether it came with one or not. Alright, so we're going to have to take this, spin this sideways a little bit, take this lever right out of here because it's being problematic. Your choke lever just slides in this little slot. We'll do that later. Now we can get to this fella. It's just a hook. And both of them are hooks. The little spring and the big spring. Right? It's not cooperating. Usually you get a screwdriver in here and you can just pull it off of there without too much of a hassle. You can hold her still. There it comes. There she blows. That's what I was thinking. I don't even think this is fuel line. It's not a fuel line. It's basically a rubber hose, just an air line. That's why it's, because usually fuel lines are a little bit, you can't squish them like this as far as, this one's pretty pliable, but how you can tell the difference is the fuel line will have cords in here. But that's a fuel line, that's what it looks like. This is a airline. Whoa, even the OD and the ID are different. But anyways, let me swap them out. Alright, I've had enough fun. Yeah, that's not a fuel line. I don't know what that is. That's just an air line. Rubber hose. It did the trick, obviously. Didn't fail. Doesn't look like it. I'll save them. But let's get that regular fuel line on there. Be a little better. Seriously? Just right to the end. Right to the end. I don't want to come off. Okay, so earlier we were talking about if you go to Sears Parts Direct or Jack Small Engine or wherever you're going to go. So like a carburetor for a Kohler engine at Sears Part Direct, they run around $200, $225. You know, for a Walbro carburetor, and then you cross-reference that part number to Amazon, and you come up with a, you know, a knockoff, we'll call it. So this is a Walbro. This is a Walbro carburetor, and it's made for. I thought I saw Briggs and Stratton. Yeah, it's made for Briggs and Stratton, right? So this is the original carburetor. And if you look, see this little stem there? Everything looks the same, yeah? So you got this, right? Oh yeah, that lines up. Other than this is a 90. This is it comes straight out, but it's a rubber hose. We ain't worried about that. So then you go to the next side, and you see there's a Welch plug there, a Welch plug there, an idle screw, idle adjust screw. You know, everything looks good, right? All sides. Minus this is screwed on to the bottom, and this is screwed on to the cups. Here's the discrepancy, right? So you got this, and you flip them around. Whoops! Something's wrong. So this ring here, you see how it's machined? It's got holes, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 holes. That one doesn't quite go in. For air, for airflow, this ring. And you can see this one. They either fell asleep and didn't machine the rest, or it doesn't matter. Right? So we're going to bolt it up. It doesn't matter. I've done this more than once. So I guess the point is, if you're really worried about, you know, getting OEM, buy this for $200 and something, or you can buy this for like $13. It is dirt cheap, and like I said, it's going to work fine. You're not going to notice the difference. And let's say next year it starts to run a little rough because you got a junk carburetor. For $20, you could do this whole thing again. So this is the ring I'm talking about. It literally goes nowhere except for in a circle. And like I said, this carburetor here just moves air between the circles, and the new carburetor does not. It just it's just a slot. It doesn't do nothing. So we'll bolt this up, and everything will be hunky-dory. Promise. So now we're going to put all our springs back together. It's the governor spring. Hello, governor. Uh-oh, just got tied up there. So you got the little fella into the little hole. The thicker fella into the thicker hole. Alright. And we got the throttle and the choke. Uh-oh. Where'd the choke go? There it is. The choke has to go in this slot, right? Remember? And it also has to go. Do we remember what what hole it was? Let's see. Take pictures. Most likely, looking at this, the outer hole. The inner hole doesn't look affected, but we can change that if we need to. So it's most likely the outer hole. I think what we did here was we did this, and then we fed it in. We took it out opposite, right? Next up is throttle. Z-bend, right? Uh-oh, let's see. Do we have a discrepancy? Nope, there's no bushing. Just seem kind of oblong for that. Alright, so that's that. And now, if you remember, this gets plugged into the air cleaner housing. So we can add our bolts now. Oop. We can add our gasket now. Alright. Bada boom, bada bing, right? Basically, snug it up, and then put your hand like this, give it a quarter turn, and I think that's exact torque, right there. So I'll do the fuel line last. This hole has to be where your breather is. So just have to mash it in there. Right. That goes over like that. That goes back on that. Get the 8 out again. Be careful because this is going into plastic, so this one's going into metal here, but the plastic one can be problematic. You don't want to strip it. Let's get the top one started. It's like working with a bent, like a noodle. I'll do that a straight one. Let's just get rid of this one. Yep, it's in a hole. So we're gonna wash it down, see if we get a marks back to what it was. Right there. So this is the original fuel line. We got a new fuel clamp. Right? Wow, that OD and ID look completely different, huh? You think it'll smush on there? Yep, no problem. All right, so we're just gonna have to yank it this way. I believe it'll be all right. Like I said, the original carburetor, it's going to be the same place. It's just it went this way immediately. This is going to have to be, well, we're going to have to monitor it. Again, you get what you pay for. You want a $13 carburetor or a $225 carburetor? You want the same Briggs and Stratton carburetor? Or are you just going to do this? That'll be fine. That'll be fine. Alright, so next up, next up is the fuel filter, and you can see this is says Briggs and Stratton on it, and this one says nothing. A little bit bigger, diameter-wise, but I can see there's a screen in there. There's a screen in there. You get what you pay for, right? So we're going to have to kind of measure where this was. I think we're going to put it right about there. Give ourselves a little bit of leeway. So we'll cut this fuel line here. Okay. Put a clamp on. Put the fuel filter in. Maybe get a little lube. Nope, don't need it. Who's here? Whoop! Picked up the rotten tomato. That's the fuel line there. And if we have to do one more adjustment towards the fuel filter, we will. Or towards the shutoff valve, rather. I want to get it away, far as away as I can from that muffler. Right? It's almost perfect. It's almost perfect, booger. There. So that's that. That's the fuel line that came with this kit. It's almost perfect. But, just to be sure, I'm going to put a zip tie on all this to keep it from sliding back and forth. Right? Alright, let's jump this one more time and let's turn the fuel on. See if it leaks. So that's going to be more than enough room. I don't think that'll be any issue at all. This is a real fuel line. The one they had on there was just air line, not fuel line. So if that didn't burn up, this ain't going to burn up. So I think we're all set. Let's see if this thing will fire up. Alright, so we got the battery charger or jumper hooked up. You see in here, the butterfly is open for the choke. So we're going to go ahead and pull this. So it's closed. Throttle's all the way up. I think I got to step on the clutch. I got the seat bypassed. Let's see if this sucker starts. I told you it was gonna work. So a knockoff carb, yeah, it does look different, and it is definitely cheaper, but they, in my experience, they always work. And I was gonna think if it needed an adjustment, if it didn't run right, if you couldn't adjust the RPMs up and down, there is an airflow adjuster, air fuel mix, low speed kind of thing. But from my experience, when I buy these cheap carburetors, you slap them on and they work. So if yours did have a little bit of a adjustment to be needed, usually these are, you seat them all the way down, right, back it off 1.5 turns, and that thing is primo, right? So that's all I got. Well, I didn't do the air cleaner and all that business, but so the rest of this kit came, it came with a spark plug, fuel filter, fuel line, all the clamps, an air filter, a pre-filter, and of course the carburetor for 20 bucks. So you could basically do this tune-up every single year if you wanted to for 20 bucks. It's dirt cheap. Keep your machine running fine. And this machine is actually more than 20 years old. It is in actually good condition. But there wasn't even a mouse nest. There was nothing. This thing was pretty clean. I blew a little dirt out, but anyways, that's all I got. Thanks for watching.